Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Financial Fix with Sharnella. Today, I'd like to talk about the interest rates. The interest rates right now in 2025, this is August, the interest rates are about 6.5%, which for me, 6.5% really isn't that much. It's not that high. Back in, I think it was 2016, interest rates were anywhere between around 6-7%, just much like what they are now. Now, a lot of people got spoiled with the 2, 3, and 4% interest rates. And I tell you, man, those rates were great. And I did take advantage of that low interest rate, and I refinanced my house at the time. I think it was in maybe 2021, 2022, at a 2.8% interest rate. So I took advantage of that low interest rate period. And, so those were great times. People were buying homes like crazy because they could afford more house because inflation wasn't quite as bad as it is now in 2025. And even though the cost of homes were rising, to borrow money was cheap. But now that the interest rates have doubled, and for some people tripled, which is the reason why a lot of people aren't selling their homes and moving on, like myself, is because we've got these great interest rates. And it's very likely, unfortunately, that we're never going to see these great rates again. So the thing is, what people have to remember is that 6.5% is actually pretty normal. I remember my mom telling me that back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, that the interest rates for home mortgages were anywhere between 11 and 20%. Yeah, you heard me right. And so those rates were huge. But then again, your cost of homes back then was very little. It was a much less than what we're paying now for the average home. But homeowners today, I think, are a little bit reluctant to purchase homes. I would say buyers are a bit reluctant now to purchase homes because, number one, they're paying so much more for other goods and services that we all need and use, such as the fuel that we put into our vehicles, more importantly, the food that we eat, the cost of the utilities, such as, your lights, gas, water, all of those things have increased. With the rise in the cost to purchase a home, not just the interest rates, but the cost of homes, period, has made it very difficult for new home buyers or would-be home buyers to make purchases. The interest rates now are at 6.5%. We're back to normal pretty much as far as with the interest rates. Again, I don't think that the 2% interest rate is coming back anytime soon, but if it does, that would definitely help our real estate market. With the median home prices being around $435,000, that's pretty much pricing a lot of people out of the market to buy their first home. And even for some people who would like to move up to their second home, because wages right now aren't really keeping up with the pace of inflation. And most people are, typically they make maybe 50, 60,000 a year, and that really isn't enough money to purchase a $430,000 home at a 6% interest rate or a 6.5 or 7% interest rate. So the housing market is struggling a little bit. But I will say this, home buyers or would-be home buyers are a bit more educated and a bit more cautious with regards to their purchases. And I like that because for those of you who don't know, I'm also a realtor. So I have helped a number of people purchase homes, and for the purposes of either an investment property or a home to live in. And back in 2017 is when I noticed a huge difference in the market. I had at that time, I think about 15 buyers, and I was working somewhere over 70 hours a week. And the reason being is because it was much harder for my clients to find a home because by the time you arrived at the home, it already had an offer on it, or it had multiple offers on it, or the agent had already accepted had an accepted offer and just didn't let the rest of the agents who were showing the home know that. So it wasn't a courteous to our time. So I worked really hard back in 2017. And so I kind of had to take a step back from real estate because a lot of my clients, they weren't able to purchase the homes at the price that a lot of these homes are being sold for. A lot of times the homes were being sold for 5, 10, and even 15,000 above market value. And so that trend continued into 2018, 19, and even 2020. We got shut down for a brief time. I had an investment property at the time. The state got shut down and I lost my buyer because he lost his job during that time. He went on furlough, and so he wasn't able to recover. But once the state opened back up, I was able to sell that property, and for a little bit more than I had put it on the market for prior to the COVID pandemic. The thing is, home prices from 2020, COVID didn't slow anything down. As a matter of fact, in 2021, 2022, home values rose rapidly. It just considerably higher. And what drove the market up was the fact that you had fewer homes on the market. The interest rates were very reasonable. Like I said, 2.5 to 3.5, 4%. That was extremely reasonable. And you had all these people who wanted to buy homes. And so that created an environment where a homeowner would receive multiple offers, and some people, got the home buying fever, and they started offering $15, $20, and even up to $50,000. Yes, you heard me right. $50,000 above market value on some of these homes. And in some instances, I had overheard other agents discussing how that some home buyers were offering to pay the seller's child's tuition at college for about a year. Yes, you heard me. Some buyers were willing to pay the seller's child's college tuition for a full year just to be able to buy the home. Now, these were in areas like, what area was that? I think it was Birmingham. So they had a lot of money to throw around. Some people were also buying homes sight unseen. They were buying homes that did not have a home inspection, where they waived the home inspection just to get the sale through much faster and put themselves in a stronger position than the next buyer. But I tell you, in 2023 and in 2024, some of those people began to realize the mistake that they had made. Because for some of them, once they moved into the home and they had not had an inspection done on the property, they realized that there were maybe some plumbing issues or foundation issues that would have been uncovered had they done things the right way and got a home inspection. So as a realtor, I never, ever allowed my clients to purchase a home without a home inspection. And there were some clients who said, well, I don't think that's necessary. And I said to them, I am working on your behalf. You hired me to do a job for you, and I must do that job properly. So I can't, in good conscience, allow you to purchase a home in which you have not had an inspection done on. And in some cases, when the inspection was done, it did reveal and uncover a lot of problems with the homes. I think I had a few homes where there were foundation issues. Going back to what we're facing right now, what the home buyers are facing right now, and even myself, I'm not interested in moving because, again, my interest rate is at 2.8%. Why would I go buy a home worth several hundreds of thousands of dollars and pay more in interest than I'm paying now? So I live in a lovely neighborhood. It is a HOA, which I don't particularly care for. But for the most part, I follow the HOA rules. And so if you follow the rules, then you don't typically have any issues. But in the future, my husband and I will likely move on to another place where we're not in an HOA. Because there are a lot of HOAs out there today that are picking on homeowners for various reasons, some legitimate and some not legitimate, and they're causing a lot of problems for homeowners. And with HOAs, right now they have a lot of power, so that if you are in violation of any of their rules, no matter how ridiculous some of the rules may be, you can get fined. And if those fines rack up, they can actually place a lien against your home if you don't pay those fines off. Sometimes they'll put a lien against the home, or they'll put typically a lien against the taxes, which affects your home. So if you don't pay that tax bill along with the lien that is placed on your tax bill, then that affects your home, and eventually over time, if the fees add up significantly, then you could potentially run into an issue where losing your home could be a real threat. So again, I don't face that issue, but there are many other people in other states who are beginning to face issues like that with regards to to HOAs. But I'm not trying to scare anyone away from an HOA. The only thing I would say is read the fine print before you purchase a home in an HOA, and just make sure that you can fall in line with whatever rules that HOA has in place in that particular home environment. So going back to the interest rates here. The interest rates, again, are normal. We're just trying to get back to normal. And I think that the home values, they're slowing down. Gone are the days when investors can purchase a home, fix it up, and turn around and flip it and make $50,000, $60,000 overnight, because home buyers they're scrutinizing the home purchases a lot more than they have in the past. So if you are a person who fix and flip properties, I recommend you do the job correctly, because if you do not, you're not likely to get a fast sale on that particular home. Home ownership, or buying a home, is one of the biggest purchases that most people will make in their lifetime. So the fact that people are being a bit more cautious today, actually, I'm very happy about that, because I was very concerned about the environment that we were in previously, where good people were priced out of the ability to purchase a home because there were multiple offers. But now multiple offers can occur, but it's less often. And the homes that are getting the multiple offers are the ones where the home is priced appropriately. The homes are pretty much move-in ready with no issues, no hidden issues. And this year, 2025, in April, I actually sold my husband's house, my fiance at the time, but I sold it within 2 days. I found a buyer within 2 days, and that's because we priced the property right. We weren't being greedy. There were no known issues. Everything that he knew to do to the property to make it a beautiful home for a new homeowner, he did those things. He didn't cut corners. So the homes that are going to sell in this market right now are the homes where there aren't any hidden issues. The home is priced appropriately, and the seller is willing to negotiate. So is it exactly a buyer's market yet? No, I just think that we're leveling out. It certainly is not a seller's market anymore. We're moving into an environment where there's a more leveled playing field for buyers. And I'm actually quite happy to see that for buyers, because there's a lot of good people out there who want to buy homes, and the homes need to be affordable. You know, a $430,000 home is not necessarily affordable for everyone. So in ending, I want to say this to the home buyers out there. You want to purchase a home in which you've had a home inspection done. Never ever waive your right to a home inspection. The next thing is, you'll want to work with a seller who is reasonable, who, if once the inspection comes back, there's issues with the home, they're willing to work through those issues. And even if they don't, cover the full repair costs, maybe they're willing to meet you halfway, because sometimes there are issues that come up in inspections in which the homeowners legitimately don't know that there's an issue. Maybe there's a violation that they weren't aware that they were in violation of. So as long as you can negotiate with the seller, stay in the deal. That's what I recommend. Also, make sure that you are getting the best interest rate by shopping around and choosing the right mortgage lender that works best for you. In addition to that, which is very important, you need to work with a realtor who really cares about you and your circumstances and finding the right house for you that is affordable for you. I would not recommend working with a realtor who would advise you to buy a home that is beyond your budget or a home in which you don't get a home inspection. And another thing that you want to do, in addition to buying your home at a price that you can afford, make sure that the home that you're purchasing is in a growing neighborhood, a neighborhood in which in the future buyers will want to purchase that home because, number one, you're in a neighborhood with people who care about their property, they're maintaining their property, and you want to be in a neighborhood where there's less crime or no crime. I mean, there's pretty much no neighborhood where there's no crime. So you'll want to target a neighborhood in which the crime levels are very low. And those areas will also need to have a very good school district, because majority of the people purchasing homes, especially starter homes, either they have children or they plan to have children. And they're looking for a neighborhood that is safe, affordable, but yet also has a good or at least decent school system. So I hope all of this has been helpful. And what I would like for my viewers is for you guys to tell me exactly what it is you'd like for Sharnella to talk about. What areas would you like for me to give you more information and more education on? In the meantime, I would like for you to like and subscribe and even binge watch all of my videos, because I actually have some really great videos that I believe could be very helpful and beneficial to all of you. So thank you for watching Financial Fix with Sharnella, and I will see you on the next episode.